Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Firda Azizah, and today I'd like to explain about my research entitled Medical Students' Perception on the Relation of Sleeping Quality and Students' Mental Health. Before going to my research, I will show you the table of content. First, there is an introduction. Second, there is a literature review. Third, there is a research method. Fourth, there is a data presentation. Fifth, there is a data interpretation. Sixth, there is a conclusion. And the last one, there is a reference. For the introduction, in living life, everyone must go through different phases, starting from children, adolescent, adults, and old age. And of course, the higher the phase that is being lived, the more things we will experience. It also occurs when the phase shift from adolescence to adulthood, because in this phase, adolescents who come from school move to the college, and this condition, of course, takes time to adapt, especially sleep time adaptation. Usually, students, especially medical students who have just entered in college, will experience a change in sleep time because they are still adapting with the more materials and assignments than in school. Change in sleep time will affect in the quality of sleep, and of course it will also affect in their health, especially their mental health. Good mental health is not only obtained from not being exposed to mental illness, but also from good living habits. One of the things that is included in good living habit is having good sleep quality. Being a medical student may be one of the most tiring times in life. Going through the process requires a lot of time, energy, and also a lot of thought so that if they can manage it properly, problems will arise, especially in mental health. The medical students who experience problems with their mental health will of course affect in their daily activities, especially in learning activities. There are a lot of studies which also identify about mental health. However, the study will explain in more detail about the medical students' perception on the relation of sleeping quality and their mental health. Mental health is very important for everyone, especially for people who are still productive like medical students. Therefore, this study aims to find out about the medical students' sleep quality, its relationship between their mental health, and the impact of their condition. In particular, we are interested in the following three questions that guide our study. First, how is the quality of sleep the mental students have? Second, how is the quality of sleep related to mental health? And three, what is the impact of the condition they are experiencing? Next, for the literature review, so sleep is a process of rest for human life which is very important to maintain the health and balance of the human body. According to the National Sleep Foundation, adolescents and young adults need more than 9 hours of sleep per day to be able to support their needs properly. This is because adolescents and young adults are a phase of productive age who have a lot of activity and they need a lot of sleep to be able to support their activity needs. Short sleep duration at night is also associated with reduced mood and increased anxiety in young adults by Damayanti and Friends 2019. So if the quality of our sleep is lacking, it will affect in our mental health and of course we will not be able to carry out our activities optimally. Medical students are one subgroup of the general population who appear to be especially vulnerable to poor, to poor sleep, perhaps due to the long duration and high intensity of study, clinical duties that include overnight and call duties, work that can be emotionally challenging, and lifestyle choices. By G and Friends 2010, health problems caused by poor sleep quality must be handled immediately so that they do not become a more serious problems and become an obstacle for someone to do their activities. Keeping sleep quality adequate is a very important thing to do so that all activities can be carried out as well as possible. So next, for the research method, This research was done through an online survey using a questionnaire into medical students. As we know, the journey of medical students is very long, then this study will find out how the perception of 15 until 20 medical students at second degree of the quality of their sleep after 1 year of being medical students. Questionnaires to be used are made through Google Form, which link will be shared to medical students to be filled more. And then the questionnaire distributed through the link contains several questions about sleep quality and mental health according to the perception of medical students. The result will then be analyzed using a pie chart to make it easier to understand and will be given a little explanation. So next for the data presentation, question number one is what time do you start sleeping? This graph shows that the time when the participants start to sleep. The result obtained showed that as many as 11 of 16 participants start sleeping between 10 to 12 p.m. 4 of 16 participants start sleeping after 12 p.m. and the remaining 1 participant start sleeping before 10 p.m. Question number 2 is what time do you wake up? This graph shows the time participant wakes up for from their sleep. The result obtained showed that 14 of the 16 participants wake up between 4 and 6 p.m. One of 16 participants wake up before 4 a.m. and one participant wake up after 6 p.m. Question number 3 is do you have time to take a nap? This graph shows whether or not the participant had time to take a nap. The result obtained showed that 11 of 16 participants had time to take a nap, while the remaining 5 of 16 participants, 5 of 16 participants admit that they didn't have time to take a nap. Question number 4. Have you ever had a nightmare? So this graph shows the presence or absence of nightmare experienced by participants while sleeping. The result obtained showed that 10 of 16 participants did not experience nightmare in their sleep, while the remaining 6 of 16 participants experienced nightmare in their sleep. Question number 5 is have you ever heard voices while sleeping? This graph shows the presence or absence of voice heard by participants while sleeping. The result obtained showed that 14 of 60 participants did not hear sounds in their sleep, while the remaining 2 of 16 participants heard noises in their sleep. Next, for the question number 6 is, do you find it difficult to start sleeping? This graph shows whether or not the participant had difficulty initiating sleep. The results show that 10 of 16 participants had no difficulty initiating sleep, while the remaining 6 of 16 participants had difficulty initiating sleep. Question number 7 is how often do you get into the wrong position while sleeping? So this graph shows the presence or absence of position error during sleep felt by the participants. The result obtained showed that 15 of 16 participants did not experience wrong position in their sleep, while the remaining 1 of the 16 participants experienced a wrong position in their sleep. Question number 8 is do you often fall sleepy when you are doing an activity? So this graph shows the presence or absence of drowsiness felt by participants when doing activities. The result obtained showed that 9 of 16 participants did not feel sleepy during activities, while the remaining 7 of 16 participants felt sleepy during activities. Question number 9 is, does sleepy really interfere with your activities? So this graph shows how the feeling of participants when they feel sleepy while doing the activity. The result obtained showed that 9 of 16 participants did not feel disturbed by their activities, while the remaining 7 of 16 participants felt that drowsiness greatly interfered with their activities. For the last question is, how do you feel when you wake up? This graph shows how the participants felt when they wake up. The results showed that 9 of 16 participants felt refreshed when they wake up, while the remaining 7 of 16 participants felt nothing or flat when they wake up. Next, for the data interpretation. So, the study showed that the majority of participants have relatively the same sleeping time even though they actually don't have enough sleep. Even so, the majority of them can still find time to take a nap while still adjusting to their busy life. Good enough sleep quality is also owned by the majority of participants due to the absence of nightmare they had, the sounds they heard during sleep, as well as the wrong position when they fell asleep. They also didn't have difficulty starting to sleep, so only a few participants felt sleepy when doing activities, and the majority of them did not feel too disturbed by their activities if they felt sleepy, because they could still handle it well. The majority of participants feel refreshed when they wake up. This shows that this shows that the majority of them still have good quality and quantity of sleep. Based on the result of the research that has been done, it is very clear that the quality and quantity of sleep greatly affect a person's physical and mental health. This is similar with another study which said that the study showed that the quality of sleep in medical students in their preclinical years was poor and their stress level elevated, with these two variables significantly associated. By Alotaibi 2020, sleep is a condition where our bodies rest from the many activities that have been done in one day. When a person doesn't have a good quality and quantity of sleep, the body balance will be disturbed and can have an effect on the physical and mental condition. Examination periods increase both stress and poor sleep quality of medical students by Sunhammer 2014. However, no matter how many activities you have, if you can still have a good sleep, then it will not interfere with your physical and mental health so that your activities can still run well. So, for the conclusion, this study aims to find out a little about the lives of medical students, that is from the quality of their sleep and the relation with their mental health. Based on the result, we can conclude that most medical students actually have less sleep. However, they try to adapt to the change in sleep time so that they can still carry out their activities properly. As long as their activities are still able to run well, their mental health can also be maintained because there are no things that disturb their mind and mental significantly. This research makes us know better that the condition of medical students is not as bad as what most people think. With all the difficulties they face, they still have to be able to adapt to all situations and conditions so that they can continue to pursue and get to what they aspire to. Based on the results of this study, it is highly recommended that other studies can be carried out, such as the way in which students can adapt to all the situations and conditions they face. This is very interesting to do so that everyone can know that everything can be done well. In addition, other studies that are recommended to be carried out is what activities of medical students have. From that we can compare it with our business, and of course there are positive things that we can take from there. By doing this research, it can be seen that everyone must have different conditions and of course have different ways of dealing with them. No matter how busy our activities are, rest is still an important thing to do so that our body condition can be maintained and doesn't obstruct all of our activities. So for the last one is my reference. So this is there are some reference that I use when writing my research. Okay, that is my research about medical students' perception on the relation of sleeping quality and students' mental health. If there are some mistakes on it, please forgive. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.